Some interesting situations. One was this guy who came in. I think he thought I did different types of facials, like, you know, the happy ending type of facial.
Right.
And so he got completely naked and laid on the table, and I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm doing a facial. I always get a facial like this. I was like, not here, you don't.
Oh.
I'm putting a blanket over you.
A special facial.
Yeah, a special facial. Those got a lot of money, girl. Alright, well, hello beautiful, thank you so much for being here, and if you are new, welcome, and if you love this info, please hit that red subscribe button. I am Cody Montarbo, the founder of Montarbo Skincare, and I'm here with my bestie.
I'm Crystal.
This is Crystal, she's amazing. And what are we talking about today?
The industry, just, you know, asking Cody some questions, maybe some personal questions. You
know, my ego loves questions. So what did you have for me today?
Okay, well, just starting off, just to get the basics out, I definitely want to hear how you got started in the industry and also what made you interested.
Okay, very good. Yeah, I mean, hopefully this video will help people that maybe are thinking about being estheticians or facialists. If you guys are ever interested in teaching the business aspect of how to build a brand that, you know, you're doing well with clientele and stuff, let me know in the comment section. I became an esthetician because I was a makeup artist, and I kind of went as far as I could with the industry a little bit, and probably burned a lot of bridges and was trying to look for something different and unique. I was getting kind of bored, and I saw this girl at MD Gross Skincare, and she was doing all these peels. And it's so funny because that's what I specialize in today. That's so interesting. And she was like, well, you know, you can't work here. And I was like, well, why? And I've worked at every other counter. And she's like, well, you need to be a licensed esthetician. And I was like, well, what's that? And the next thing I knew, I was in school to do aesthetics, and I had no idea what it was. Like, I didn't know that we waxed. I didn't know that I would be touching people's faces. I honestly just went to get that license so that I could, you know, get a different counter job basically in retail. I mean, that's really the honest truth. And then I really fell in love with it. After that, I went and learned more about it. And then, to be really honest, I was lying to people. And I started telling people, because school, I couldn't get in because the year already started. So then I just started telling people I was an esthetician. And then I started doing facials in my sober living in a little closet. And I would have people lean over this Vicks Vapor Rub that I put into a bowl of water. And they would lean over the bed and they would steam their face, and it was tragic. I mean, it really was tragic. And then my sponsor at the time was like, are you licensed? Are you an actual esthetician? I was like, no, not yet. And he goes, well, then you can't be telling people that. And that was like, oh yeah, maybe that's probably not the best ethics. But I've always been a dreamer.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's funny. Back when he was in the closet.
In the closet, please. There was no closet.
Okay. What's the craziest experience you've had? Can you during your time as an esthetician, maybe with a client or just anything like that?
Well, I've had a few interesting moments with people. I think that one, you know, I can't share much for confidentiality, but I could share that I have had situations where people have over expectation. And that got me in trouble, where I probably also was kind of full of shit and really thought I could just heal them, and, you know, thoughts and prayers and just all this stuff, when in reality it was probably out of my scope and I couldn't help them. And that's why I just don't do that anymore to people, and that helped me greatly in my career, which was not to overpromise. And that's probably why I'm so like under-promising with everything, my skincare, my services, because I think people they want to trust you, and when you're like saying that you're the best and you're going to cure people and you're going to help them, and I have the best product for you and the only thing you need, and people know that. They've been sold and sold and sold so much that people know that kind of hype.
It's the same thing.
It's the same. One was this guy who came in. I think he thought I did I did different types of facials, like, you know, the happy ending type of facial.
Right.
And so he came in, and he was a little interesting right away. I could tell, like, he just, I don't know, like his energy was off. And so he got completely naked and laid on the table. And I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm doing a facial. I always get a facial like this. I was like, not here, you don't. Oh. I'm putting a blanket over you.
Special facial.
Yeah, a special facial. And those cost a lot of money, girl. Yeah, that's not on the menu, right. Girl. So I think that was pretty interesting because it made me uncomfortable, and it made me really decide if I had a moment where I was like, do I even want to work on this guy? This is creepy and kind of weird. But I let it slide because maybe he has gotten naked facials in the past. Is that a thing I don't know about?
Just lays on top, like, hey.
Yeah, like, hey.
Yeah.
So
did you continue? I mean, you continued.
I continued working on him, but he knew that I meant business.
Yeah. He probably never came back home.
After he. No, yeah, he came back 2 more times.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, you know, it's like that stubborn person that thinks you're going to date him eventually. They're like, let me try one more time.
Yeah.
Maybe this time. And he overly tipped also. So, yeah.
Well, that wasn't terrible then.
No, but
well,
it's just not worth the money, those kinds of things, those awkward situations with people. Yeah.
Okay. Well, next question. How did you find your specialty and your niche?
That's a great question. You know, I think it happened through evolving through the industry and kind of like figuring it out as I went along. You know, I think that's true of any career or industry, is you kind of develop yourself and find what you're attracted to and what interests you. And for me, I did all natural aesthetics, like all the Aveda, the Eminence, all organic. Like, I've been through that evolution now, and there's a place for that, and I love, and I have great friends that do that. But for me, at the end of the day, I was like, oh my God, I'm charging all this money for this facial, but not getting people results. So then when I got trained under a doctor and got medical aesthetic training, and I started using more aggressive agents on people and doing chemical peels and seeing life-changing results on people, that's when I found kind of my calling and my niche. Was that I said, I'm going to spend all my time and energy on trying to figure this out, because I was honestly, especially with chemical peels, you know, and that's the thing, I always see people doing chemical peels online like it's no big deal. I mean, it took me years to feel comfortable. It took me a long time, probably because I'm kind of a slow learner, and I was very nervous to hurt somebody. It's a little different versus you're doing it yourself versus a client that could sue you. So it took me a long time to really feel comfortable doing it and to master mixing them and formulating them and stuff. And so I think it just became something that I was attracted to because I saw how much they really, really worked and helped people. The niche evolved organically, honestly. It just became obvious to me. I think that, you know, more people could be better in their industry, regardless of the industry, in the sense that it's like if you're talking to, I think I learned this from Marie Forleo, it's like if you're talking to everyone, you're talking to no one. And I had to get really clear with who I was talking to and helping, and it was like chemical peels, acne, melasma, you know, and I think when you get focused and there's clarity, that people are really attracted to that, oh, this person specializes in this, they know what they're doing, they're mastering this, instead of offering like a million different services in my office. I'm like, no, I don't offer that, even though I could make money doing that, like the hydrofacial. I'm not doing that. I don't want to do that.
And it's something kind of personal, right? Because you said you saw life-changing results, but also within yourself. So
well, myself too, because I had terrible acne. It was not good for business, girl. When you're walking around telling people,
you wouldn't believe that because it looks so good.
But if you look closely, you see the aftermath of my scarring, and I always had terrible scarring, and I'm still trying to work on it. And, you know, 13 years later as an esthetician, and I think that was when my life changed, when I was using those agents on me, and my acne went away. I was like, wow. Because nothing else helped. No product, spot treatment, medicine, nothing was working.
I agree, because I went through also a phase, and I think that also opened my eyes to the power and possibilities of what chemical peels can really do. So, yeah. But I was just going to say, his skin looks really good. It really does. He's done a really good job. Yeah, no, even though I know he still picks a little bit, but you're doing good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so my next question is, what challenges do you face in this industry, or just being an esthetician in general?
Well, I try to overcome challenges. So anything that is a challenge, you know, in my life or in my business, I try to master instead of having a challenge. So I try to make the challenge make me better instead of bitter or resentful or feeling like I don't know how to figure something out. So I think the biggest challenge in general for me, because I only really have officially an 8th grade education. I know, don't be scared, pouring acid on people. But officially, you know, I did go get a GED, but I was high, and it's a long story. I don't even know how I got it, but I dropped out in 8th grade. And so the challenge I've had is that my education has has held me back in the sense of my writing, my grammar. I say things a little broken sometimes, especially coming from Hawaii. So I think that I've been my biggest challenge. I've been in my way in a lot of ways by thinking that I'm dumb and ignorant. And so whenever somebody is always like, oh my God, you're so informative and knowledgeable, I'm always like, wow, that's so interesting. I never thought I would hear that from people. Also, a big challenge for me has been not being patient. I think my own challenge has been not being patient and letting things take the time to mature and to develop and to grow instead of jumping around from everything and I'm going to master this, I'm going to do that, and it's just like, just focus, you know, slow down and focus. Like, I have tons of ideas, I have millions of ideas. It's like, okay, implement the ones that are working now and master those and let those kind of grow, and then grow that way instead of trying to do too much all at once, which is something I've had the PhD in.
So patience is a virtue. No. Okay, so next one. What is your favorite thing about what you do?
My favorite thing about what I get to do is...
Favorite things.
The favorite things. Yeah, things. I think that I love loving on people. You know, I love giving people that moment of love that they might not be getting in their life or have never gotten, of where I accept them and I don't judge them, and I create a safe space for them and get them to breathe and to connect in a way that I think is my real job here. The facial and the peel is second, you know. So that's one thing. And then my favorite thing, I think what I'm really paid in is not the money that I get for a service or the exchange of that energy. It's when the result has been achieved and they're crying with me, thinking that they can't believe their skin looks so good. And I'm like crying too, going, I can't believe it either.
Me too.
Because I just feel so blessed to be able to be a conduit in that way, that I am able to help the hopeless often. That's who I choose to work with now, is a lot of people that are really struggling, because it's a challenge for me and it keeps me doing something exciting and fun for me, which is to work and figure out how I'm going to transform the skin. So I think that's definitely something that I absolutely love. I get the reward of seeing people feel confident again and to feel like they can love themselves again, because they're not judged. Yeah, they're not judged by the scarring and the cystic acne anymore. That's like that's my paycheck.
He changes lives.
Oh, I don't know about that,
no, but
yeah, I really love that.
With your 8th grade education, conduit.
Yeah,
you sure have a grammar. Yeah.
Conduit. My ego has a PhD.
So last question: what advice would you give to newcomers, estheticians, or anyone thinking about getting into the industry or skincare and having passion for it?
I love that question. I've had a couple friends, 3 friends, take esthetician school because they saw me so passionate, and none of them ended up continuing with it. And I think that this is going to be probably a weird answer, but there's a difference between having passion for something and then having that passion become your job. And at the end of the day, this is a job. You work, you have to hustle. That's my biggest advice. You have to hustle. You have to hustle, consciously, like to get yourself out there and to make yourself known. And I wish more of that was taught in the schools, and I think I'm going to be doing programs. I just got started, maybe that's the only reason why I promote it so much, but to try go do makeup or get a job at a counter first, and just see if you want to talk about skincare and skin all day long, or to try to find a job that you can work with a dermatologist or a medical spa at the front desk or something like that before you invest money in the school. Because I see so many people, it's similar to hair school, that's you know, give $15,000 or more and they do this and then they realize they don't like it or they don't want to do it, and they've just spent all that money when they could have probably got a part-time counter job, you know, talking about skincare. And then if that feels right for you, then I think you'll be led and guided into that, deeper into the industry. I really believe that. Instead of just thinking you're going to be successful because you're passionate isn't enough. I'm so sorry to say that. And just because you love something doesn't mean you're going to be successful either. And I know that sounds harsh, but it's so true.
It's the truth.
And
I mean,
you know,
real, keep it real here.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you can have hope and passion, and those are great values to have and energies to have to help build your life and your business and your success. But at the end of the day, you have to learn the market. You have to learn to sell yourself. You have to learn to sell. You have to learn to master your craft and to master communication, to be able to communicate with people in such a way so that you are able to really have people feel trust with you and to have people feel like you're creating value for them before you ever do a facial or anything. Like I see a lot of people lead with, oh, I do makeup, I do hair, I do facials, and it's like, that's only part of what you really do. What you really do is you connect with people, right? And you are creating value for people. And so it doesn't matter what the service is so much. I don't lead with that. I lead with just sharing my knowledge and my love and my ability to, I think, connect with people. So I say do some research and make sure before you blow all that money, you know, read some aesthetic books and go to the library and get an esthetician book.
Oh, My Ladies.
My Ladies book. Try to be around people that are in the industry that have been in there a while, at least a decade, and figure out if you really want to do that, because there's always the business aspect. And that's really important to know, is that the aspect of business is the hardest part to master. It's the same that's true in the music industry. You can sing your heart out, girl, and be an incredible singer. But if you don't know the business of music, you're not going to be successful. You need to be a business person in the industry of whatever industry you're in.
And that's smart, you know, seeking what it entails before you know, put all your eggs in one basket. But it reminds me of when I got my first facial. I was 17. And I was like, okay, I should probably try it out and know what the hell this is before I even go into it. But I really enjoyed it, and I really liked it, and grew more passion for it as I kept going on with the program. But it's smart to do that. I think, too, maybe, like he said, maybe if aesthetic isn't what you're looking for, you can find, there's other options that, you know, you could be of service to in the skincare industry. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Well, I hope you guys found this video interesting or helpful. If you like this kind of videos, let us know. I definitely want to do more videos about like the industry and how to book people and sell and the business and stuff. So if you love that kind of information or want more of that, let me know. And thank you for asking such great questions, because I often think people don't, do people really want to know this stuff? But I'm thinking that maybe some of you do, so thank you for thinking of this.
I hope they were good questions.
This was Crystal's idea too, so thank you.
Yeah, I think, you know, your viewers love you and they want to get to know you more, and so do I, so it's great switching it up a little bit.
Yeah. All right, guys, I love you guys so much. Remember to always subscribe and stay gorgeous, and I will see you soon in a new video. Bye-bye.